Hey, Doug Murin here. I promised you a ugly Facebook, but I don't know, off our little sunroom here, it might look okay. I want to talk to you about Vista Church Network. Yes, out of the Murin Group, we do a few things. One side we call the Murin Group, which is our for ministry only nonprofit where we do our evangelism, our Proxys training program, and our part of our Vista network here is under that. The other side is called Murin Group Alliance, which is a for-profit consulting firm for churches, organizations, and what we call for-profit for benefit. So we do a lot of work there. Another topic. Today, I want to talk to you about our venture called the Vista Network, which is a standalone developed by several friends over the years and collecting a lot of interest. What is Vista? First, quickly, it is a network of gatherings. Uh, you may not call them all churches from your standpoint, but they are gatherings, and Vista Network is to share training to make certain that people who would try to venture out or want to venture out in these new style gathering points in America, the United States, we seek to organize, give support, do all the things that a beneficial group would do. But there's a great deal of decentralization. The basic five styles we're looking at is first what we call the modified conventional format, which is basically the same format as conventional churches use, but maybe jumbled around a little bit. For example, our worship wouldn't be in front, but at the end, and very different. We will only gather in a public gathering once a month, then some smaller group stuff, and a big party, and actually have a Sunday morning once a quarter that's just prayer. So it's a different approach, though it has some familiar things you would fit in there. We are starting 3 of those right now: Baltimore, Orlando, and Seattle. The second style we're calling affinity groups. These are forms that women particularly can use sometimes to start even conventional churches. These are basically groups, people with similar challenges, similar visions, similar concerns, and we will teach you how to gather that kind of group. We feel it, well, easily I can tell you many people that's how they want to gather in the name of Christ. The third group is an online church group. We do feel we want to launch out there, particularly with millennials. I personally have no experience on that. I've learned a great deal about it, but we have experts that could help us. We also think that online churches would be good to be part of a larger organization. And we actually call our organization Vista an organization slash concept slash expedition. So we are developing that. We think we'll develop many churches. They'll be, in fact, international from that. We think all the high-touch stuff we want, we'll find ways to do it. The next group we're calling Ministry Points, formerly Preaching Points. These are groups that gather for ministry outreach. We found about 20% of Christian believers want to gather in a much higher level of intensity than we normally do as churches. These would be groups of anywhere from 5 to as many as you want, who take on a task. For example, one of our groups right now already has assigned a 4-block area where over 2 years, 6 to 8 couples are going to Christianize that. We're going to help them know how. It's not going to be weird. It's going to be very reasonable. And another group is starting a church for 4 to 14-year-olds, which is the easiest age to reach in one of the projects in their city. We have oversight for that, encouragement for that. We encourage these groups to only go for 2 years because of the amount of intensity. Now, why are we looking at those groups? Well, we found that less than 25% of people who want to honor Christ by gathering feel any connection or like for the style we use. I know that's hard for conventional leaders to focus on. It's not that they're unspiritual, all that. It's just that their makeup is far different than the way we've approached it. They're not into the pastor-centric approach or sermon-centric, which is hard for a lot of people in information overload mode to kind of go in more lecture mode. And that's okay. That's okay. I beg my church leader friends to see that. So what we've done is we've found that the 20-25% like the way we're gathering. It's probably shrinking, but I can't imagine it shrinking much more. The other there's 60 to 70% of the population who 1/3 of U.S. population actually are former church members, but 60 to 70% of the people said they would have a great affinity to one of the 5 other tracks that we've outlined. They meet needs that they want. If you meet Duns, and I encourage you all to read a book by Josh Packard on why people leave church, you will find a lot of these Duns love their pastor, want to gather, in fact, they even love the church. They just found that what they're shooting for is just too laborious to get to with the format we have now. Now, I understand how paradigms work, and most of you do too, that paradigms limit your ability to see broader realities. Which brings me to this point. A major reason for our developing is to simply widen the bandwidth of the Church of Jesus Christ, capital C. We need a broader bandwidth. The conventional isn't wrong, and we're certainly not suggesting what we're going to do is better. In fact, it could be quite inferior. But we're just saying that we want to widen the bandwidth to include more styles of gathering and to realize more opportunities that could be seized. I encourage you to be part of this, because I'm telling you, it is going to take off. Already, I am shocked with the level of at least curiosity and interest in what we're doing. And as we start, you need to know, okay, how many do we want to sign up? I don't really want any more than 10, 15 people that can become regional leaders to join us. So, next, how are we organized? Well, we have a major director, and then we have a group of 5 directors that work together who work with regional leaders. Regional leaders may say one will be over LA. Over is not a good word, but assist and serve the area of LA. And one maybe will serve New England, different places, or even relationally just spread out with no regard to geography. Those regional leaders will work directly with what we call local ministry directors. The early Methodists would have called them circuit riders. It is our conviction that many people who pastor churches of 100 could easily lead 10 churches of that number. We also see these groups giving direct oversight, training, and input to what we call team leaders and groups. The range of that is, I think, probably unlimited. The building block that's going to be most critical of our group is going to be that circuit rider person, as it was in early Methodism under the leadership of Francis Asbury. It's quite a lot easier than it sounds like, and it can be quite organized with a huge amount of decentralization at the same time. We need leaders at every one of those categories, and we're going to move at a slow but steady pace. It's not going to be something you're going to walk in and say, hey, I'm curious, I want to go to some meetings and get that. No, forget that. We're not doing that. We don't need that many people to do that. It is going to be hard to get in, not in the way of reports and paper and all that. No. we want to know your passion, one, for reaching lost people, and even to kind of delve into understanding and being part of the inner workings. You really have to sign up. You can drop out at any time, and it's going to cost. We've decided, do we have people tie the organization? No, we didn't want to do that. We want all the money we can to stay in the local settings. But what we did decide is to have a $300 fee or gift or whatever every month from every major leader and growing leader, and then from every group. It's very simple. It's very reasonable. That money will allow us to cover our bookkeepers, some legal entities, our insurance, the time for guys who are putting full or half time in a bit. Nobody's going to get rich off it, it appears. but we do need to compensate some time. We have some people who are consultants that are giving up some of their time. I'm one of those. Undecided how we'll approach that. And we will want some money as well for emergencies that happen out there with some of our leaders. That's our plan. We will never treat our groups as cash cows for an organization. So that's basically how that works. So if you want to hear more, you can, but you've got to make a commitment to come in first. I've worked in the last 5 years with too many baby buster, millennial, baby boomer groups, and they want everybody to pay for R&D. They'll start a church for you, but you got to give them a bunch of money first. And we're not into that. I started numerous churches without pay. In fact, I paid for them. I've worked for a church of 800-900, and I didn't get paid. I don't have an entitlement thing. This is a call. So if you think this is the way in that way, you're wrong. Now, you can get your money back if you jump in and you don't like it after 4 months. That's a guarantee. You can leave any time you want without us shaming you. But let me get back to the real purpose. We believe that America has never been more poised for an awakening than today. And yet there's never been a wider gap for a long time between the church and the people seeking Christ. So that'll get us started. Our email list is in this. Our email address is in this thing, Murin Group. You can reach us, murin.consultation@gmail.com. But the best one is vistamovement@gmail.com. So God bless you. Watch for more really charming things to come your way as well.